the most realistic online racing sim ever made. This is iRacing. Detailed laser scan tracks, fully dynamic real-world cars, and over 50 series to choose from. 6 online world championships offering over $100,000 in annual prizes. This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
Welcome everyone to tonight's production of the Dynasty Racing League on DRL TV. My name is Ryan Branch and I'll be your host for this evening. We're going to bring you 125 laps from Delaware International Speedway for the Delaware 125 in the A split of the Winter Oval Series. Should be a pretty exciting race ahead of us. My graphics not fully updating up here on the screen. I am going it alone this evening, so everyone will have to bear with me. I will try to bring you as good a coverage as possible here. Gentlemen are going to take the track and start qualifying. I can get a couple of them pulled up here. We go look at the point standings. We got John Theodore sitting in first right now. Just behind him, Ryan Hesgaard in that number 2 car, only 2 points back. Nicholas Lovell, he is in third. Chris James in fourth, and Carl Dotson fifth. So John Theodore leading these point standings right now. Had very good times during practice, so I expect to see him set an equally fast time during qualifying here this evening. It's the number 2 car there of Ryan Hesgaard making his way around the track. See what kind of lap he can put down. Right now, Nathan Jurgensen leads with a fast time of 23.397. Hesgaard crosses the start-finish line with a 23.437, so he's going to sit in second. Still quite a few drivers left to qualify here. John Theodore has yet to put down a lap. See if we can capture him as he comes around to complete his first. Mr. Theodore getting down onto the apron there. Going to come in fifth with a 23.459, so John Theodore can't be too satisfied with that after the practice that he had. Wade Hustad able to eclipse Nathan Jurgensen there. He is going to take first place away from Nathan Jurgensen, so he will be first on the grid. He posted a 23.359. So a good 4 100ths faster there than Nathan Jurgensen was. So all of these drivers inside the top 10 are within about 1.5 tenths of each other. So going to be a tight field tonight. We are at Dover. This is the Monster Mile. They don't call it the Monster Mile for no reason. Very interesting track. It's a very even oval. The corners are both very tight, completely different driving in the corners than when you're on the straights, and getting out of the corners means a lot for your straightaway speed. So I expect to see, if and when there are cautions this evening, we're going to see those coming out of turn 2 and coming out of turn 4. Trying to see if we have anyone left on the track here attempting a qualifying lap. Thomas Harmon has yet to put one down. Mike Springer's yet to put one down. Same with Matt Kleinschmidt, Seth Noel, or Caden Honeycutt. Caden Honeycutt is rolling out onto the track now. I don't know if he's going to be able to get a time down or not. Only 48 seconds left up there on the ticker. So Caden Honeycutt, I don't think he's going to be able to get a time out. Thomas Harmon is waiting at the start-finish line. Presumably wants to start in the rear of this field. Matt Kleinschmidt doing the same. And Seth Noel trying to get his lap down. So comes across the start-finish line. And he is going to place in 15th with a 23.537. So Caden Honeycutt, again, I don't think he's going to be able to get a time down. Thomas Harmon and Matt Kleinschmidt both are going to roll over here at the very end to try to start in the rear of the field. Thomas Harmon has about 8 seconds left. He needs to get over that line. There he goes. So he should start behind Matt Kleinschmidt if he got out early enough, and he did in 26th. And Caden Honeycutt will likely receive a black flag penalty at the beginning of this race for not posting a qualifying lap. So Honeycutt missing the beginning of qualifying there. We're going to go take the grid here. Get our grid to pop up here. Go back. Wade Hustad's going to start in first in that number 32 car. Nathan Jurgensen will start second. Ryan Hesgaard claims the third position. Mike Springer in fourth. Got Ben Izinga in the 5th spot, John Theodore 6th. We're going to have Chris James starting 7th with Robbie Armstrong in 8th. Brian Kaufman starts in the 9th position. Nicholas Lavelle starts in 10th. Richard Lucky in 11th. John Mullins 12th. Bill Edwards in the 75 is going to start 13th. Michael Seal in the 14th spot. Seth Noel starts in the 15th position. Brandon Hartwell in 16th. Austin Nielsen is going to start in 17th. And Matthew Punt in 18th. Kevin Varnador, I believe is how you pronounce that, 19th, and Carl Dodson 20th. Christopher Pope starts in the 21st position. And I lost my grid for some reason. Not wanting to pop back up for me. See if we can get back to the first here. Christopher Pope, PJ O'Leary will start in 22nd. John Dubuque in 23rd. Eric Johnson will start in the 24th spot. Matt Kleinschmidt in 25th, and Thomas Harmon in 26th. Caden Honeycutt is going to start in the 27th position, but again, he may have to serve a black flag penalty depending on how race control deems that. He's unable to get that qualifying lap done, so may have him having to come in right at the beginning of this race. Let's say Dynasty Racing League up there in the top left. I've tried to get this graphic to update for me, and for some reason not wanting to switch over. I should say Winter Oval Series. This is the A-split of the Winter Oval Series. This is race number 5 out of 9. Been a great season so far. A lot of tight racing. This track is one of those tracks that's going to really test these guys. So, small track, perfect for these cars. These are the type of tracks that these cars were meant to race on, and we should have an awesome race on our hands here. So, guys come off pit road. This car is heading around, and we are going to take the green flag in just a moment. Thank you to all the viewers for tuning in tonight. Hopefully this is a good one. Like I said, I am by myself. It's been a while since I broadcast alone after being on vacation and all of that for Christmas, but on top of that, it's been a long, long time since I broadcast all by myself, so there might be, you know, minor spots of me not knowing exactly what to say at certain times, but hopefully production quality is good for you guys. We're going to follow Wade Hustad here in that number 32 car. He does sit in the pole position, and he's going to take the green flag. Wade Hustad out to a quick jump down there on the inside line. 31 there of Nathan Jurgensen on the outside, gets right down underneath, and followed just behind him is the 2 car of Ryan Hesgaard. So all of those guys stringing out fairly quickly. Doesn't look like Hesgaard's going to give Jurgensen much breathing room, though. Already trying to get to his inside there. Things have strung out through the pack as we head back. Mike Springer sits in that 5th position. John Theodore just behind him, that bright blue 89 car. Chris James in the 82 and 7th. All of these cars kind of stringing out and going single file already. Bill Edwards in that 75 car has John Mullins in the 64 hot on his tail. John Mullins in that purple Skittles vehicle. And just behind him is Nicholas Lovell. He is in that 83 car trying to put the pressure on Mullins. Looks like everybody taking it very patient here. Wanted to string out and get into that single file and then really race some guys to get some positions here. Not make any mistakes early in this race and cause some premature cautions. And it's worked so far. Like I said, it's going to get very interesting coming out of turn 2 and coming out of turn 4 as this race goes on and these guys start going too wide. Because you lose a ton of speed down the straightaways, the guy that goes to the inside is going to want to hold all the way on the gas, and he's going to coast right up into that outer car. It's going to be difficult to hold it down there towards the apron without getting the vehicle sideways. We do see the 38 there of Matthew Pont already damaging the outside of that 38 DuPont Chevrolet as the 7 of Christopher Pope tries to make his way around him. So it looked like Pont was, I don't know, he just got into the wall on the straightaway there. So car got a little bit loose coming out of that corner, and he couldn't hold the straight going down the straightaway. And there he goes again, rubbing the wall just a little bit. So Matthew Pont maybe a little bit out of his element, but I expect to see a lot of that throughout the evening. These guys rubbing the wall just a little bit. Top 3 remains the same. Wade Hustad out front with a comfortable lead in that 32 car. Nathan Jurgensen just behind him in the 31, and then Ryan Hesgaard in the number 2 car. That's your top 3. There is about a 1-second gap all the way back to the 17 here of Ben Izinga in fourth. John Theodore managed to get around Mike Springer. He sits in the 5th position now. And Mike Springer sits in 6th. Behind them, Robbie Armstrong to the inside of Chris James, trying to make the pass. He is able to do so. Puts himself in a rough position going into that next corner. That's going to stack the field up a little bit. And that number 4 car there of Richard Lucky, or 41, I'm sorry, of Richard Lucky, all over the rear end of Chris James after James being slowed by the pass that Robbie Armstrong made there. Just behind them, Bill Edwards in the 75 makes the pass on the 36 of Brian Kaufman. And it looks like Michael Seal in the 54 car is going to try to hop on board, but Kaufman shuts that down. Pulls right back down in front of him, doesn't allow him to ride the train there on the inside. So it's another thing that can happen. If you just let one car to the inside of you, you can potentially let 3, 4, 5 guys go right around. And again, Richard Lucky making moves. He's going to head around Chris James in the 82. Already 9 laps in, now 10 laps in out of 125 here. Caution free so far this evening. Lucky finally completes the pass there on Chris James. Oh, everybody up into the wall. And, oh man, that's going to send, who was that? It was Brian Kaufman who went up into the wall there, and that sent somebody right down to that inside wall. Did not bring out a caution flag. I don't know how they avoided the caution there. Go back and see if we can get a look at that. That was Michael Seal that must have been there in that 54. Seal in the 54. Let's see everybody bouncing around up in front of him. Hoffman there in the 36 almost gets into the back of Bill Edwards. Coming out of this corner, Kaufman makes heavy contact with the wall. Seal gets into the rear end of him, and then he just gets turned down into that inside wall. So not much he could do to avoid that. Luckily, he does not bring the caution flag out, but he is going to spend some time down pit road. You can see he's already been in there for 30 seconds. So not only the front of his car that was damaged, but the rear end heavily impacted, and then that sent him into the wall and gave him even more damage. So now we're going to go look for another replay. It looks like Kevin Varnador, maybe. Had some issues. Varnador here at the 63. We'll see. Hopefully see what happened. .95 there makes contact with the wall. Varnador is now down pit road, so it has to be him here any second. That's what it is, coming out of that corner. The car gets loose. He was kept it way too close down to the apron. He was trying to avoid everybody, and the car got more loose. He just couldn't hold on to it, so he crushes the inside wall, damages the front end of that car. So the 63 there of Kevin Varnador. Michael Seal looks like he may have already exited the vehicle. That's him there in that number 54 car. Caden Honeycutt deciding not to race, it looks like, after not getting that qualifying lap down. And it looks like Carl Dotson in the 95 has decided to stay out here. Again, if I bring up these point standings, you see Carl Dotson sitting there in 5th, so he's done well already. None of the guys in the top 5 have won a race yet here in this Winter Oval Series in the top split, but just being consistent, staying out there, getting top 5s, and maybe a little bit of pit strategy going into the 95's decision here. Wants to stay out. He will be on 15-lap old tires. So, see what he chooses to do. You see everybody else there is going to come down pit road, so. Catch back up to the live standings as live viewing as Carl Dotson is following the pace car around all by himself. Wade Hustad, the first one to make it off of pit road. Just behind him is Ryan Hesgaard in that number 2 car. And Nathan Jurgensen in the 31 is going to come out 4th. So it looks like Hesgaard able to make up a position there on pit road. Back into that or not. and watch them pull down and see if we can see what happens here. Actually, Hesgaard was in front of the 31. Oh, no, he wasn't. Here they go. Yeah, it looks like Hesgaard just doing a better job. Gets in the box, gets out of the box very quickly. The 31 just behind him. And 31 almost gets beat by the 17 of Ben Izenga off pit road as well. So I was back watching the replay there. I didn't get a chance to see if Hesgaard had actually completed a pass on Nathan Jurgensen or not prior to that caution coming out. If that was the case, then it makes sense that Hesgaard beat him off of pit road. But the 31 there, looks like he might have had some issues down in the pits. Again, welcome to all the viewers. Thank you guys for tuning in. We appreciate it. Been a decent race so far. We're 16 in out of 125. This is the first caution. Try to make a little adjustment here. Looks like the screen is pretty bright, so let's see if we can play with some filters and turn that down just a little bit. That looks a little better on the screen now. Maybe that yellow not as bright as it was before. And gonna get ready to go back green flag racing here. Lights on the pace car are off. Cars doubled up. Wade Hustad electing to take that inside line. Ryan Hesgaard, the number 2 car, is going to start just outside of him. We'll see if the 31 here of Jurgensen can get a better start than Hesgaard did on the initial start of the race and stay right behind the 32 of Wade Hustad. If not, I expect the 2 of Ryan Hesgaard to drop down into that lane right before they go into the first quarter. Looks like that is what's going to happen as Hesgaard gets an excellent start. Wade Hustad unable to pull away really at all. Hesgaard's going to drop down easily into that lane. Now going to run in the second position. Third there, the 31 of Nathan Jurgensen. Just behind him is the 17 of Izenga, and John Theodore all over his bumper in that 89 car. He is your points leader here. Very consistent driver. Did very well. I think he made the final 4 of the playoffs in the Cup Series here last year. So. Expect to see him up there. Ryan Hesgaard was the odds-on favorite to win the B-Car Series here last year. Our Grand National Series, but he ended up not capturing that championship. However, did have a heavy lead going into Homestead. Raced really, really well all season, so not a surprise to see him up towards the front. And then Wade Hustad, the number 32 car, he was the winner of the Cup Series last year, so top-notch drivers up here in the front. Nothing unexpected. John Theodore is making the pass on the 17th here, or at least trying to, of Ben Izenga in that number 17 car. Finally gets around him. Izenga kind of came into his own at the end of last season. Didn't see him a whole lot early in the season, and then there towards the end, I think he did a lot of practicing with the S2R, Ryan Hesgaard, and Bill Edwards, and Thomas Harmon, and those guys, and James Lorello. Started practicing with them a lot, and really, really got good towards the end of that Grand National Series here. And coming out and racing with some of the best drivers in the league, and he's doing a very good job there in 5th. Robbie Armstrong, got another guy to talk about. He was the winner of the Truck Series last year. So this top 6 drivers are just full of absolute prime contenders in the Dynasty Racing League. All the guys you expect to see running up here in the front. Obviously, with the exception there of Nathan Jurgensen, we didn't get to see him, so he is a new addition to the Dynasty Racing League, and he's come out every week and raced really well as well. So. Springer not getting a number set for this evening. Not sure why that happened. He's in that 087 car there in 8th. Trying to chase down Richard Lucky, which is another new driver we have to the Dynasty Racing League here in this Winter Oval Series. Lucky in the 41. Go back to the 82 car of Chris James, followed by Nicholas Lovell in the 83 car, and Bill Edwards in the 75, just behind them. Kind of on an island of his own there. Nobody really in front of him, nobody behind him. Not giving him too much pressure and kind of just letting him get around as best he can. Kevin Varnadorner, you see up there, 460 seconds he's been on pit road, so. He's going to get a chance to get back out here and run, but he is sticking around. Hopefully he plans to get back out on the track and maybe spin a few more laps. He is the only driver in this series that holds a B license rather than an A license. Again, was not his fault that he got crunched the way he did, but stuff happens. That's racing for you. Ryan Hesgaard and Wade Hustad pulling away now from Nathan Jurgensen in the 31. Hesgaard trying his best to stay on Hustad's bumper. Wade Hustad, a very methodical driver once he gets in the zone, especially if he's out there with clean air and doesn't really have to worry about much, is one of the toughest drivers there are to be. Cars still on the lead lap. Michael Seal and Kevin Varnadorner, the only two drivers being knocked out of this race. So Matt Kleinschmidt surprisingly still running around in the rear of this field. Not sure if he's just biding his time till later in the race, trying to avoid some of these early race wrecks, which we haven't really had many of, as we have only had the one caution come out. Matt Kleinschmidt, typically a very good driver, can hold his own. I know he raced Dover at least once or twice last year, so must just be being very, very patient. Maybe plans to turn it up here at the end of the race, but riding very, very close to the 36 there, Brian Kaufman. Maybe he's getting ready to make a move as he collects that outside wall a little bit. Thought he wanted to get around the 36 here, Kaufman. He does complete the pass, so. Matt Kleinschmidt up in the 23rd now. Matthew Pond, I pointed out the damage on the outside of his car earlier. I think he stayed in the pits and got some extra repairs. And there you see at the back of the field, Brian Kaufman, all on his own, heads down and smashes that outside wall. He's trying to get the car going. He's backing it up. Hopefully he can prevent the caution flag from coming out here, but his lead pack drivers are coming around. Wow, no caution flag flies. He hits the cone at the end of pit road, and I think he's just going to limp it around on the apron and try not to make a caution come out here. So I'm surprised iRacing gave him that much time to throw the caution flag out, especially after he had a reverse there just a little bit. So Brian Kaufman getting loose, and that might just be the end of his race. Back to the front, Hustad and Hesgaard still checked out from the rest of the field. Nathan Jurgensen in the 31 car and John Theodore are going to be next in line. Just back from them, Ben Isaiah, number 17, and the 41 of Richard Lucky, making their way around the track. To be honest, I'm not 100% sure how long of a run these guys have on fuel. Matt Kleinschmidt already going to come down in the pits as well. Looks like Kleinschmidt having some issues this evening. I don't know how long they have on fuel, but I have a feeling we might see some pits for tires before we see pits for fuel. So if this thing does go green, I do believe all they have to do is make one pit stop. We might see, they went, caution flag was on lap 14. I think they went green again on lap 17. So about 21 laps on the tires. Oh, and we have another accident. Looks like that was Robbie Armstrong. Try to catch that. Robbie Armstrong, Thomas Harmon, Nicholas Lovell all getting tangled up there. Robbie Armstrong in that number 3 car. Thomas Harmon makes a strong run to the inside and then comes up and, oh, just unfortunate circumstances. He taps the rear end of the 3 as the 83 is also making the corner. So Thomas Harmon getting very aggressive, and then maybe got into the gas a little bit too early as the car started to push towards that outside wall. We'll watch it one more time. The car starts to push towards the outside wall. He didn't have the room. The 3 was there. And the 83 was in his rear, so there's not much slowing down he could do. So Thomas Harmon with a little bit of over-aggression there, pushing it really hard and unable to hold the car down there towards the apron. So that is going to bring out caution number 2 for tonight. Guys coming down pit road. Gotta watch these first few drivers. Stad in his box first, clean stop. Hesgaard in his box second, also a clean stop. And that number 31 car of Jurgensen, it's in and out just as well as the other 2, but he is going to be just behind. Hesgaard pulls away, trying to make up some ground on the 32 of Hustad, unable to do so. So Wade Hustad still going to be your leader coming out of the pits here. Did have the 56 there of John Dubuque. I don't know if maybe he only took left side tires or something, but he came out of pit road very fast. So he might actually be your new leader now. John Dubuque started in the 23rd position. Now he's going to come back down pit road, so must have missed his pit box or something. Didn't go right down there on pit road. He's going to come back down and get the tires replaced. So back up front, Wade Hustad started in first, currently runs in first. I think he's led every lap of the race so far, except for maybe 1 or 2 under caution. Looks to be electing starting that inside line yet again. Hesgaard moving from second, who qualified behind Jurgensen. He is going to maintain the second position. Him and Hustad kind of been the stars of the show this evening, running away from everybody else out there in the front. Never know what can happen if the racing gets tight. Hesgaard's been unable to make a move and really push to get around Wade Hustad yet. See if maybe if we can get a longer run in, he'll be able to put something together. Looking Silent Syndicate Punisher car there. I think that's made by Bill Edwards over at Fatal Concepts. Bill Edwards there in that 75 car makes a lot of the paint schemes for the drivers of the league. If you're interested in a paint scheme, reach out to him. He does great work. Follow along with these front drivers, and I'll be back in just a moment with you guys. Watch these fellas take the green flag yet again. Hesgaard staying very close to the 32 of Wade Hustad, as he did at the beginning of the last run. As the run drug out, though, he did let the gap grow over time, so Hesgaard may be figuring this track out. I'm sure he put in some practice this week, but I know there were a lot of road courses on the schedule. The guys didn't have a whole lot of practice at other tracks, and I didn't have much oval racing to do this week. I think everyone was at an oval course or at a road course, so maybe Hesgaard just getting back into the swing of things, as he is right on Wade Hustad's tail and has been there since the restart. See Kevin Varnador, he is still out on the track and trying to collect some laps. He's heading back down to the pits right now, 27 laps down. He continues to race. He should be able to sneak ahead of Brian Kaufman and Matt Kleinschmidt, who are both out of the race at this time. So 22 drivers still on the track, all 22 of them on the lead lap, and Kevin Varnador is in the pits, like I said, collecting some more repairs. John Theodore has moved his way up into fourth. Zinga still sits in the fifth spot. Richard Lucky in sixth. Hopefully I said Izinga in the fifth spot, not the sixth spot. I don't know if I misspoke there, but Richard Lucky's trying to make the pass right now on Ben. Heads down to the inside. Ben makes the crossover, able to stay right in front of Richard Lucky, so I don't know if Richard just gave him some room there and didn't press the issue, but good on Ben to hold that spot. Springer in the 087, he's just behind Richard Lucky. Bright yellow Juicy Fruit car. I don't even know if they still make Juicy Fruit, do they? Interesting tasting gum, to say the least. Chris James in the 82 was just behind him, followed by Bill Edwards in the 75, Eric Johnson in that 042 car, Christopher Pope in the 7, and P.G. O'Leary runs in 12th, the number 8. Earnhardt Jr. car right there, I like it. John Mullins in the 64. Purple car, was that a Willy Wonka car he's got? Kool-Aid. All right. We got Seth Noel in the 33. He sits in 14th. Looks like the 5 of Brandon Hartwell trying to make the pass on him. This level. There in that 83, trying to be patient. Also, I'm sure he would like to make up the ground with these guys. See Thomas Harmon in the 68, the 3-car Robbie Armstrong got tied up in that earlier, so he's still running back here in 17th and 18th position. Both racing really well up towards the front earlier in the race. That contact that brought out the last caution has caused them to fall back a little bit. Hopefully under the next caution they can get a few more repairs done and maybe stick out here and run. Obviously the damage has caused them some issues with the car and made them a little bit slower, but I'm hoping there are still some repairs to be made to those cars and they can collect them under the next caution and get back up there and move towards the front. There's two very good drivers. Carl Dodson the same there in that 95 car. Be able to get some repairs and get back up there and run at the front. Back to the front, Wade Hustad still out here. Ryan Hesgaard just behind him in the number 2 car. Jurgensen and John Theodore. So same running order. Richard Lucky was able to make it around Ben Izinga in the number 41. And now Izinga has Mike Springer knocking at his door as well. So Mike Springer, a pretty patient driver. He tends to take a different line than a lot of the other guys. He typically favors the high lines of tracks, but this isn't a particularly high line track. We did just see Eric Johnson, I think that was. Oh no, that was the 82 there. Chris James smacks the wall hard. That allows Eric Johnson and Bill Edwards in the 75 to get around him. So bad news bears for the 82. Now he has Christopher Pope in the number 7. Guiding his bumper. Just behind him is P.J. O'Leary in that number 8 car. So more contact with the wall we just saw there. Guys bumping and banging everywhere. I figured we would see a lot of scraping and stuff, especially when these cars are going too wide. Just coming out of the corners, there's not room, and if you don't get back into the gas early enough, you just don't get the run down the straight that you need to make things happen. So you can lose a lot of time on these straightaways if you don't get out of the corner just right. got Richard Lucky, who was finally able to get around Ben Izinga, is now all the way up to John Theodore, and he's knocking at the door of the 89. There he heads to the inside, going to try to make the pass on John Theodore. Theodore lets him go, maybe not. Holding him down there at the bottom, making Richard Lucky let off the gas as they come out of the corner. That's going to give Theodore the straightaway speed he needs to maybe maintain the position. Lucky not giving up though, stays to the inside. Again, Theodore with the better straightaway speed, but Lucky does have that inside groove and is able to kind of beat the 89 in these corners. Finally pulls up in front of him and makes the clean pass. So very surprising there. Theodore was very, very quick in practice. Been unable to put it together so far tonight, but he does still run in the top 5, and he does lead your point standings. So Theodore just after points right now. The top 5 will definitely accomplish a lot if he's able to maintain it. Ben Izinga and Mike Springer both just behind him. And we're going to go down to the track and crank up the volume level here for just a minute, boys. So hopefully you guys enjoy this. If we do have a caution, I will get back, well, as the caution flies. So. Oh no, that was Ben Izinga, the number 17, just after I was talking about him. I know we have some Izinga fans out in the crowd, so let's go back and see what happened to him. Izinga here in the number 17 car. Comes down. Oh, he was, I don't know, that's a tough one to call. He was coming down, Mike Springer was heading up, which is natural as you come out of the corner. I don't know why Izinga so low on the track there. Watch it one more time. Mike Springer is right against that apron. Izinga pushing the limits there, sticking right to his back bumper, and Mike Springer comes up just a little bit. Nothing that could do to be avoided there. I don't know. That's tough. You know, Springer had the position, and Izinga didn't want to give it up and lost himself there. Cars come down pit road. Again, just as we've seen all race, Wade Hustad, Ryan Hesgaard, Nathan Jurgensen, all getting into the box very cleanly. Looks like Hesgaard has, I don't know. Looked like Hesgaard might have done a little better in the box there. 14.58 to Wade Hustad's 14.83, but Hustad has that front pit stall, and there's no taking away that first position from him. And Richard Lucky might have beaten, let's watch that one more time. I think Richard Lucky may have beaten Jurgensen off of pit road. Yeah, so Richard Lucky on the outside there. Speeds off of pit road there. Just barely beats the 31. So iRacing's going to give him the position, and Nathan Jurgensen turns over another spot. Richard Lucky, just after making the pass on John Theodore, the caution flag flies, and now he's beating Jurgensen off of pit road, and he now runs in the 3rd spot. If we can go down to the track and grab Richard Lucky. I don't know if I've ever talked to him before or if he'll be expecting this or not, but Richard Lucky, you got a copy, sir?
Yeah, I got you.
Hey, this is Ryan up in the booth, man. Just after making the pass on Theodore and you're able to grab one on pit road, how's that feel, man?
It feels really good, but now I'm up here with Wade and Ryan, so we'll see what we can do from here.
Yeah, you were. It took you a little while to get around Izinga, but then you were making things happen there late in that run. So maybe you just need a long green flag run, and you'll be able to make some stuff happen.
Yeah, just been trying to be smart and ride for about 7 to 10 laps after a restart, and then try to move forward from there.
Well, best of luck to you, man. Hopefully we can interview at the end of the race. Go out there and get a top 3.
Thanks, man.
That was Richard Lucky. So awesome job on his part. Able to grab a few positions in just a few minutes. Then I think in the 17, still down pit road, almost over 2 minutes now. So needs heavy repairs to the car. It took a lot of damage. And for this restart, we're going to go down and crank it up. If a caution flag flies, I will be back with you guys momentarily. Hopefully no caution comes out, but, you know, my luck after, you know, having 2 caution-free restarts, you know, the start of the race and then the last 2 cautions, you know, this time there'll be almost an immediate another caution. But we're going to try cranking up the noise here, guys. And there's the caution we were talking about. John Mullins gets into it hard. That number 64 car. Caught the action live that time. Where's he at? 64. Coming up on Chris James, the 8 of PG O'Leary right on his bumper. PG O'Leary does take the inside spot away, but oh no, Mullins just pushed just barely into the outside wall, makes contact, and heads right down to the inside wall. Wrecks out quite a few people. The 95 of Carl Dodson getting tangled up again. Robbie Armstrong in the number 3 getting tangled up again. Obviously that number 8 car did not have a good time out there either. That's PJ O'Leary. Now following the pace car around, I imagine he will be pitting here in just a second. And watch these front leaders come off pit road one more time. Looks like the 82 there of Chris James is going to come off in first. Not sure if Chris James only took a couple tires there or what happens, but he does get off pit road first. Ryan Hesgaard beats Wade Hustad off of pit road finally. So, yeah, Chris James with an 8.3 second stop. Wade Hustad with a 15.4 and Ryan Hesgaard with a 14.2. So maybe Wade Hustad staying there to get just a little bit of damage fixed and gives up the top spot to the 2 of Hesgaard. As we're going to take a quick commercial break, we'll be right back to Green Flag Racing here in just a moment.
Truex in the outside, contact made, 56 slides it into 4, who's going to be into stripe, dead even, give it to Ryan Truex. Truex is your winner over Tandy.
And the lights are off on the pace car. We're going to head back to Green Flag Racing here in just a second. Ryan Hesgaard starts in the second position. Chris James is going to start first after the short pit stop. Chris James jumps quick as soon as the pace car pulls down. And Hesgaard, without not the best start on his part, had Jurgensen all over his rear end. Jurgensen almost getting up there and making the pass on Hustad, but unable to do so. Hesgaard already down to the inside of the 82 here, so everybody's going to have to try to move past the 82 now with Chris James after only taking that 2-tire stop. Hopefully everyone can do it cleanly. Decision like that, a risky one by the 82 of Chris James. John Theodore trying to go to the outside now, as Jurgensen's been slowed down just a hair by the 82, and Theodore's going to make the pass. Following along here with Chris James kind of back in the field up just a hair. He did only take 2 tires, but this is not the easiest track in the world to pass on. You see him get loose coming out of the corner there. That's going to slow down his straightaway speed, and John Theodore is going to have to make a move sooner rather than later if he wants to stick with these top 2 drivers. And there it is. He heads down to the inside, says, get out of the way. I'll take that lower line, if you don't mind. And Nathan Jurgensen's going to attempt to follow here. He also gets a nose down below, so now we see this train effect that I was talking about earlier. Everybody's going to continually try to dip down to that lower line and just pass Chris James one after another, and he may find himself stuck out there and unable to get back down. You see him getting loose out of that corner once again. It's not a place you want to be, stuck up there high in the corner on your way out. Not only do you have to worry about the car under you, but you have to worry about that wall sneaking up on you as well. Need to see a lot of patience here from the 042 of Eric Johnson, as he has some crazy racing going on in front of him. He does put the 82 behind him. Now you have the 33 of Seth Noel and the 75 of Bill Edwards are also going to try to make their passes on Chris James. Risky decision by the 82 has not paid off. The 75 of Bill Edwards there, jumping down to the inside of the 33 after almost hitting him in the rear end, and he grabs that position. So Bill Edwards now making moves, finds himself all the way up to 7th. He did start in the 13th position, so great work by him so far here tonight, able to gain some spots. Eric Johnson the same in that 042 car, started in 24th, he's all the way up to 6th, and once again another caution flag flies. Looks like that's going to be the number 5 car of Hartwell, maybe the 68 yet again of Thomas Harmon. So finds himself in a mess the second time tonight, and John Dubuque in the 56. So we'll go back and watch, see what happens to these fellas. Oh, looks like the 68. That's his second time this evening, just running up under somebody, and I don't know if you can say he caused the wrecks, but person just comes down as he comes up, and so the 56 trying to stick down there low. Harmon backs the corner up, gets a strong run, and yeah, he just gets right to the back of the 56. So that one's all on the 68 of Harmon. Causes a big pile up towards the back of this field. Knocks Brandon Hartwell out, had nowhere to go. And once again, we'll come down and watch Hesgaard and Hustad and Jurgensen battle for this position on pit road. I don't think we'll be seeing anything like we did before. The 2 tire stops like Chris James tried did not work out for him. We do see some cars towards the back of this field taking off quite early, and Hustad able to win the race off pit road that time. So Hustad says, "Thank you very much. I'll take my spot." And he will be your leader. John Theodore now in that 89 car. Again, very fast times during practice. He's able to come out in 3rd. And Eric Johnson comes out in 4th. So Jurgensen all the way back to the 5th spot after that pit. Not having the greatest time on pit road tonight. Richard Lucky, who we talked about earlier, was able to make that position on Jurgensen 2 cautions ago. He is back to 6th now. So Bill Edwards, who we were just discussing before that caution came out, it runs in the 7th position. Carl Dodson sits in 8th in that 95 car after getting tangled up in a wreck earlier. So good work by Carl Dodson. Seth Noel runs in 9th in the 33, and Nicholas Lovell, he runs in 10th. Mike Springer, who was also tangled up in an accident earlier, he is in the 11th position. 12th is Christopher Pope in that number 7. Been a quiet night for Mr. Pope back there. Austin Nielsen, I don't think we spoke about him yet tonight in that 71 car. Also a pretty quiet night, running around the 10th, 10th to 15th spot all evening. That beautiful Cabela's car that he's running. Chris James now, after the starting in first after the last caution, he is all the way back to 14th. So still have 21 cars in the field, 19 of which are still on the lead lap. John Mullins and Robbie Armstrong, after wrecks earlier in the night, run in 21st and 20th. And then Brandon Hartwell, who we just saw get collected in that, had nowhere to go, stuck against the outside wall, creamed the back of the 68 of Thomas Harmon. He runs in 19th. P.J. O'Leary in the 18th spot in that number 8. And John Dubuque, who's also collected in that 56 car, he's going to start in 17th. Thomas Harmon, I think, when causing the accident there, he starts in 16th. So there might be 19 cars still on this lead lap, but a good 7 or 8 of them are dinked up pretty bad. Might even have more than that have been pretty beat up. I don't think I've seen much in the way of Wade Hustad taking any damage whatsoever. You do see the rear bumper of the 2 of Ryan Hesgard crinkled just a bit. Eric Johnson in the 04-2, his is crinkled just a little bit. Theodore in the 89 has kept his car relatively clean, as well as Nathan Jurgensen in the 31, so should still be some tight racing up here at the front. Lights are off on the pace car, and we're going to go back to green flag racing. Thanks to all the viewers for tuning in tonight. Hopefully you're enjoying the race. A couple decent green flag runs. We have now had a few cautions in a row, but see if these guys can make it go to the end. We have 40 laps remaining here at Dover International in the Delaware 125. Wade Hustad pulls away quickly, elects to start in that outside line rather than on the inside. Easily runs away before the first corner. Cars piling all over the wall after turn 1, and it looks like we're going to have yet another accident. Wow. There's just no patience on the restarts here from these guys. Try to see what happens. It happened just up in front, I believe, of Thomas Harmon in the 68. That 7 car, that's where it all started to happen. So 7 of Christopher Pope touches the wall, swerves down, gets the 68 sideways, and everybody piles up after that. So Chris Pope, after I said, running very consistently there, haven't seen much from him, causes another big one. That wasn't a lack of patience there, that was simply him losing control of the car and not really having a place to go. So once again, Thomas Harmon in another accident. 68 car is, might get the award. Ugliest car at the end of this one. Austin Nielsen, who again, I was just speaking of, we hadn't seen much from tonight. He gets taken out in that. So collected as a byproduct. Nathan Jurgensen in the 31, he's all the way back to 14th now, so he's going to come down pit road. 95 coming down. I don't even know if that's legal, but 95 there of Carl Dodson is also going to come down and take a pit stop. So now we're getting to the point in the race where these leaders are wanting to stay out. You know, only 5-6 laps on the tires there, most of which was under caution. Riding very slowly, not really putting much heat in the tires or doing real damage to them. This is the point in the race where pit strategy can really pay off, because if you're the front car and you pit, are the next 5 going to stay out? Are they all going to follow you? There's a lot of things to think about. So this is where we could see another late race caution cost Wade Hustad a win if he decides to make a pit. And then if he decides to stay out, then you'll see Ryan Hesgard and the rest of the field follow him down pit road, and they'll all be on fresh tires and kind of leave Wade Hustad in the dust. So tough decisions there by that lead car. You don't really know what to do and what not to do. Leary, Thomas Harmon, Austin Nielsen, Christopher Pope, John Mullins, and Robbie Armstrong all on pit road. Thomas Harmon only 51 seconds down there. He's going to come back off pit road. come back out onto the track. So I don't know how he's doing it, getting caught in a lot of accidents. He's still able to stay out there and stay on the lead lap. Austin Nielsen's getting quite a few repairs, already down there for 90 seconds. Christopher Pope over 2 minutes. Robbie Armstrong was on pit road for a long, long time, about 900 seconds for him. I think he's finally going to come back out and run with us. In out of 125. 36 laps remain. This is the A split. Tomorrow night we will be coming right back to you here on DRL TV for another Delaware 125. That's going to be the B split race. So many drivers in the league. Kind of have to split everything up into 2 separate sessions, but those guys will be with you live here tomorrow night at 9:30 p.m. Eastern. Right back at Dover for another 125 laps in these awesome little cars. Looks like Hustad, who's your leader, is going to take the inside lane this time, whereas last restart he was started on the outside. So mixing things up, trying to keep Hesgard confused. Those guys have been running 1-2 all evening. Class of the field tonight, but just behind them, Eric Johnson, who's finally caught up after, if you look here, yeah, he started in the 24th spot, so maybe Eric Johnson has something for them as well now that he's found his way to the front. And then John Theodore, who again had the best times in practice, started in 6th, he runs in 4th. They expect some good driving here towards the end of the race. Johnson trying to pull a little crossover move on the 89 of Theodore, almost got into his rear bumper. Now Richard Lucky is headed to the outside of him. He's followed by the 75 of Bill Edwards and the 83 of Nicholas Lovell. Oh! Speaking of Nicholas Lovell, creams that outside wall, and he's going to let Mike Springer by on the inside. Once again, Lovell almost touching that outside wall. He has to be very careful here. You're stuck in the outside, too wide at Dover. You want to get in the gas as early as possible to get that straightaway speed, but that wall sneaks up on you quick. Especially out of this corner right here. Doesn't let it get the best of him there, but he does let Mike Springer around, and now he has the 33 of Seth Noel to contend with. Matthew Pond, who dinged his car up early in the race in that 38 DuPont, he is doing well now, back up into the 10th position. Nathan Jurgensen in the 31, he's looking to make some moves. He was running up front all night. He has the car to do it. He has the speed to do it, but everybody in front of him is also battling for position, and they're not going to make it easy on him. I don't know who that was. Almost wrecked out there. Wasn't Robbie Armstrong. Somebody almost lost it there coming down that back straight. Ryan Hesgard and Wade Hustad 1 and 2, still running away with the race. They've been out there all night. Nobody has anything for them. John Theodore and Richard Lucky in 3rd and 4th. Lucky able to make the pass on Theodore late in the run. 2 cautions ago, so we'll see if he's able to do the same this time. Said he was just trying to stay patient, wait till they got some laps on the tires, and then make his move later in the runs. And now might be the time for the 41 as he heads to the inside of the 89. Unable to stick it down there as Theodore makes the better corner. Mullins in the 64 heads down pit road. Now Lucky trying again. Push the 89 up towards the wall, force him to make a mistake. It is the goal, but at the same time, he can't make a mistake himself and push up into that outside car and cause another big accident. So good luck doing everything he can to get around this 89 car. Great racing by both of those drivers. The 41 finally able to pass. Theodore put the bumper to him, try the crossover move and get back to the inside. Doesn't work. Now, because of their battling back and forth, they have the 75. Eric Johnson to contest with. Will Edwards now knocking in the third time. Are starting to approach, I believe, a couple of caution or lap cars. That is just Robbie Armstrong. Oh, excuse me. Robbie Armstrong in that number 3. He's going to get down low onto the apron. Doesn't want to get in any of that racing action or cause any accidents or anything like that. Those cars around without problem. This car still staying to the bumper of the 32. I don't know, maybe he has something in planned for way towards the end of this race, but he hasn't quite gotten close enough to make a pass, but he's just keeping that gap at pretty much a 1-car gap the entire time. Now that Richard Lucky, just like earlier when he passed Izenga, once he got around the 89 of John Theodore, able to put a gap on him and start to catch up to those cars in front of him. So, passing definitely not easy here at the East. Pack of 4 cars here. That's Theodore, Edwards, Eric Johnson, and Mike Springer, and then back to Nicholas Lovell in the 83 car. Seth Noel, Nathan Jorgensen, Matthew Pont, and John Dubuque are all running right there. Back to 5. Just behind them, wouldn't you have it, the 68 of Thomas Harmon, after all the damage he's incurred tonight, is running in the 13th position and looks to be making it down with these guys. So, I don't know how he's done it with the car he's got, but let's make it happen. Hustad able to put a little bit of gap on Ryan Hill's car. The smallest little mistake can throw off a lap time, especially for these fastest guys that are out here. Hustad has about a 1/10 faster lap than Ryan all night tonight. Running a 23.187. Ryan Hill's running a 23.236, so I guess about 5/100ths of a second quicker. Caution flag. That was John Dubuque in the number 56, his second incident. Let's see what happened to the 56 here. Oh, wow, that might have been a little bit of net code. The 38 wiggles to avoid the wall just a hair, and it didn't look like he quite touched the 56 of John Dubuque, but that does completely wreck him and send him sideways. Matthew Punt does not look like he received too much damage from that, so very unfortunate set of circumstances for Mr. Dubuque. Wade Hustad decides to pit. We're going to go see who pit and who didn't here. Hustad came down and Hesgaard followed, so still 16 laps left to go in the race. We'll see if anyone decides to stay out. I think we're pretty much going to get a pit stop by everybody. Nobody going to try what Chris James tried earlier. It did not work for him. I think that was only just over 20 laps on the tires at that point. Surprised nobody tried it, but see if anyone elects to just take 2 tires here and maybe race off pit road. Looks like nothing too crazy. The 41 there, Richard Lucky almost beating Hustad as well, so would have been his second time tonight. Well, actually, he lost the position to Ryan Hesgaard, but that would have been his second position lost in 1 pit stop. So, stop was a 15.6 for Wade Hustad and a 14.5 for Ryan Hesgaard. So that's twice tonight that Hustad has just had an unusually slow pit stop. I'm going to go try to grab Mr. Hustad and see what his thoughts on that are. Wade Hustad, you got a copy?
Yeah, I do.
Hey, man, that's second time tonight with over a second slower pit stop than the 2 of Ryan Hesgaard. What's going on down there? Are you getting repairs, or are they just being slow in the pit box?
You know what, tonight they're just being slow. I can tell the Jackman's definitely fired, but that last one was a 14.7, which was really, really slow. But at least we're running up here with Ryan tonight, 1-2. It's been a fairly clean race so far for us up front, so we're hoping to end it that way, whether Ryan wins or I win. So we're hoping for a good finish.
He's quick at the beginning of these runs, man, but you've put a little bit of a gap on him towards the end of them. Hopefully you can go out there and get that position back. You only got 15 laps to go. Good luck, man.
Thank you.
So those guys actually are in a channel together, all talking to each other in that S2R team channel. I think Hustad's been doing a little practicing and racing with those guys lately, so there's some jarring going back and forth. They have been 1-2, as Hustad said, all night long, but it's typically, or it has been, the 32 of Hustad out in front. Now Hesgaard's going to get the opportunity to run away with it, and like I said, it's not easy to pass here, so it'll be fun to watch and see if the 32 is able to get around him. Especially with Richard Lucky up there. He's been quick. Every time he's gotten around some cars, he's gotten some clean air. He's been very fast, so it's going to be all in this restart. And now the restart's been handed over to the car of Ryan Hesgaard. Lights are out on the pace car. These guys are doubled up. Gonna go green flag racing. Hesgaard may just be praying here for another caution quickly after this one, so he can use this little jump he gets at the start in order to maintain his position, run a few more pace laps, and then do the same, maybe one more time. He could just downright steal the win from the 32 and not even give Hustad a chance to race him. Hustad gets an abysmal start at the beginning of that one. Possibly being in the wrong gear or something, but that's going to give Richard Lucky the go-ahead. Hustad all over the bumper of that 41 car. They quickly catch back up to the 2, though. And now Hustad has 2 cars to pass, so not the restart he was looking for. John Theodore just behind him, and then you have Mike Springer in that 087 Juicy Fruit car we talked about earlier. Doing very well. Bill Edwards up into the 6th position in the number 75. He's tailed by Nicholas Lovell in the 83 car. Now it seems to be Hesgard and Lucky up there at the front. Hustad, quite a bit of a gap behind those guys. Unable to really stay up with them, so. Sun is going down here at Dover. I'm sure track conditions are changing. The track's starting to cool down a little bit, even with the cars running out here, so could be in favor of Richard Lucky if he's able to adapt to the track, as Hesgard and Hustad have been the fastest two cars all night long. Like I said, I think Richard Lucky's put himself in the perfect position to win this race, but all he can really do is put pressure on the two. I don't think making a pass is going to be an option. See what he's able to do here in the closing laps of this race. We only have 7 to go. Lucky is all over the bumper of that number 2. Stad back in the mix as he catches up to him, puts a little gap between him and John Theodore in the 89. Tight racing up here at the front. This is fun to watch. Thank you to everyone for tuning in to watch with us tonight. Hopefully these last few laps go green, because there's going to be some action at the end of this race. The 41 of Richard Lucky trying to make the move on the 2 of Ryan Hesgard. He wants this win. Pushes Hesgard up just a little bit. Trying to stay clean. Very, very close to the quarter panel of that 2 car. And Hustad wants in on it as well. He says, well, if the 41's going to go around, I want to go around with him. And now Hustad going to take it down to the inside of the 41 and make it 3 wide. Wade Hustad, excellent set of driving there, is able to make the pass on the 41 of Richard Lucky. I don't know how he was able to make that happen, but these guys jousting for position at the end of this race. 4 laps to go in the Delaware 125 here at Dover International. And there's Hustad to the inside of the 2 of Ryan Hesgard. Richard Lucky also still in the mix, able to run that better line. Hesgard getting pushed up to the outside in that corner, makes the slight mistake, and that gives Hustad the edge, allows him to take the spot away, and it also gives a position to the 41. Ryan Hesgard looking to try the crossover move. The 41 holding it down there next to the apron, doesn't allow it. And now the 89's caught them with all the jousting that they've been doing back and forth. Richard Lucky, after getting bumped into 3rd, is still able to grab that 2nd position back from the 2 of Ryan Hesgard. Looked like Hesgard was the favorite to win it here at the end. And then a couple of beautiful passes by the 32 of Wade Hustad. 2 laps to go. This time around, we will collect the white flag. John Theodore moves to the inside of the 2 car of Ryan Hesgard. So Hesgard falling apart at the end of this race. Has the better speed coming out of the corner. Hesgard maybe going to give it one last go here on the 41. John Theodore rubs the wall coming out of turn 2 there, takes himself out of the contention here right at the end of this race as they come around the last and final corner. Wade Hustad is going to be your winner. Richard Lucky collects 2nd, and Ryan Hesgard collects 3rd. Wow, what a race. We're going to run through your unofficial results. Awesome, awesome racing there at the end of that one. Wade Hustad with a set of incredible passes there. And Richard Lucky, out of nowhere, able to come up and grab the second place finish. Like I said, Wade Hustad, after leading 98 laps this evening, able to jump back up there into the first position and win the race. Richard Lucky, without leading a single lap, comes away with the second place finish. Ryan Hesgaard in third with 23 laps led this evening. John Theodore finishes fourth. Nicholas Lovell finishes in fifth. Eric Johnson sixth. Thomas Harmon in that 68 car, collected in 3 accidents tonight. He's all the way up into the 7th position. Carl Dotson finishes 8th. 9th goes to Chris James. 10th to Seth Noel. Matthew Pont is going to finish in 11th. 12th goes to John Dubuque. 13th to Nathan Jurgensen. 14th to Bill Edwards. 15th, PJ O'Leary. 16th, Mike Springer. The 17th spot goes to Brandon Hartwell. 18th, Robbie Armstrong. 19th, Christopher Pope. 20th, Austin Nielsen. John Mullins takes the 21st spot in the 64 car. Ben Izinga finishes 22nd. 23rd to Matthew Kleinschmidt. 24th, Brian Kaufman. 25th to Kevin Varnador. And 26th to Michael Seal. Caden Honeycutt did not participate this evening. Awesome, awesome racing at the end of that one. That was super, super fun to watch. I can't believe it. We are going to go down to the track and get a couple of interviews here. First, we'll grab our winner, Wade Hustad. Wade Hustad, you got a copy?
Yeah, I do.
How did you pull that one off?
I really don't know. I'm all smiles. That was awesome racing with Richard and Ryan, but we had such a poor restart. You know, Ryan was counting me down. I just kind of misjudged everything, got off to a bad foot, and I was like, man, this race is over. But I knew if Richard was going to get side by side with Ryan, we had a shot. And coming off a 2, I saw they were side by side, and I decided to go in higher in 1 so that way I could have a run. I'm like, we got to go 3 wide. We got to make this fun. So I don't know how we did it, but we came out on top tonight, so I'm happy.
Yeah, I don't know how you took it 3 wide without wrecking there. I couldn't believe it when you decided to make the move. And then Richard Lucky, I think he let you have it. Looked to let out of the gas, didn't want to cause an accident. I think he could have stuck it in there and stayed on the inside of Hesgaard and forced you down real close to that apron and maybe made you make a mistake. But that was super fun to watch. I can't believe you made the pass with the 3 wide and then able to make another pass on Hesgaard in the next corner. And Hesgaard with a mistake or 2 at the end. He comes away with 3rd. I did not see that occurring after the restart that I watched. That's for sure.
No, I didn't either. Just that didn't pan out the way I thought it was going to, and you guys probably didn't think so either. But it still was a strong finish for Ryan and his team tonight, S2R. So we can't complain too much, but it was a fun race with those guys, and thanks for everything that you guys do. That was a fun race. I'm glad I waited this out to have that enjoyment.
Yeah, just the patience from everybody tonight. There was, you know, a couple crazy wrecks that happened in the middle of the pack. You know, just guys, you know, it was practically single file for most of the night, and you really had to force the car in there to make passes, and I think that's just what caused a few of those wrecks. So not much that could be avoided. It was a pleasure to watch there at the end, even though you guys were running away with it for a majority of the race. It was all worth it for those last 5 laps, that's for sure.
Absolutely. It was fun. You know, thanks for everything that you guys do. DRL is a blast, and I can't wait for this.
Anybody else you want to give a shout out to before I let you go?
I'll thank you for once again. No,
right,
that's
buddy.
about it. Take care, man.
Have a great night, Wade. We'll see you next week.
Yeah, you too.
And that was Wade Hustad, the number 32 car, your winner for this evening. Now I'm going to go grab Richard Lucky in what I believe is his very first second place finish here in the Dynasty Racing League and see how he's feeling after that one. Hey, Richard, you got a copy?
Yes, sir. I hear you.
Hey, when we talked earlier, I said try to come away with a top 3. Well, you did me one better, man. How's it feel?
It feels pretty good. It's nice to get up there and run with those guys that I've seen run some of the races here, like Wade and Ryan. Those guys are fast.
Yeah, it was it was really fun to watch there at the end. Hey, when Wade Hustad decided to make it 3 wide there, it looked like you backed out of it just a little bit. What were you thinking in that moment?
Oh no, I didn't back out of it. That's the hardest I ran in the corner all night. It actually slid the right front tire, and me and the two had a 0x contact, and he knew we were 3 wide and gave us plenty of room. I mean, it was still tight getting in there, and my brother called me right after the race, and he said, sometimes you just got to tip your hat to a guy. So Wade just made the right move at the right time, and all three of us, man, that was just unbelievable racing.
Yeah, I was just telling Mr. Hustad it was all worth it to watch the last 5 laps of that one. Very, very fun to watch. Thanks for putting on a show. Congratulations on your second place. Is that your first second place yet in the DRL?
Yeah. Yeah, I got third in one of the pro races, the only one that I ran. And then I've been having some bad luck in this winter oval series, just keep getting caught up in a lot of wrecks, and there's a lot of cautions, and I'm a better long run guy. So it's nice to get some longer runs tonight, and it was nice to get a second place.
Well, I think you put an end to the bad luck, man. Hopefully you can come out and do it again next week. You got a shout out for anybody tonight?
Yeah, I just want to thank Wade and Ryan for running hard and clean, and John Theodore was had a good battle with him in the middle of the race a couple times, and he ran a good, clean race. Thank you guys, and thanks everyone at DRL for putting this deal on. And really like to thank my brother. He's coached me up this week because this is his favorite track, so I probably wouldn't have been this fast without him.
Well, you were definitely fast, man. Hopefully you can do the same next week. We'll see you then.
Thanks, Ryan.
And now we're going to grab Ryan Hesgard, who gets the 3rd place finish after running in the top 2 all evening. Ryan Hesgard, you got a copy, sir?
Ryan Branch, yeah, I do. Go ahead.
Hey, so you come away with 3rd, man. After that restart, I don't know. What was going on? What was going through your head as Wade Hustad took it 3 wide?
No, don't overdrive. Don't overdrive. And then I overdrove every corner.
Yeah, it looked like you know, up here it looks like it could be nerves or whatever it is, but you guys racing as tightly as you were, and just trying to get back up there. You know, once you lost the 2 spots, it's you know, they can really put a lot of pressure on you.
Yeah, once I lost the inside lane, I knew it was going to be tough from there. I'm surprised I didn't go back to 4th or 5th. You know, I wasn't too worried about the mirror when I had guys next to me. So I didn't really. I was just not that very good on the exit like Wade was and Richard was. I was better a little bit on entry and through the center, but I just never adjusted to the track. Overall, I mean, that was fantastic racing there. That 3 wide was kind of sketchy, but we made it work.
It was fun to watch. I had asked Lucky what had happened there, because it looked like he had let out of it on when we were watching the broadcast. But I guess you guys made a 0x contact, and he made the tires slide just a bit. That's why he looked like he slowed down as Hustad was trying to take that inside line. He got inside of him, and it looked like Lucky almost gave him the position. But he said that was definitely not the case. So awesome ending to the race. I can't believe it ended the way it did. Congratulations on your 3rd place finish.
Thank you.
What do you think? So if you would have never let Lucky catch up to you, there's no way Wade would have caught you either, right? I mean, you guys battling is what gave him the opportunity to get up there, I would think.
Yeah, I mean, the track changes so much. You know, after about 5 laps, mentally you just get in a rhythm, and then you get new tires on, and you know, you've only done that rhythm. You know, you only done the new tire rhythm 5 times versus 120 other times. You know, so I was a little out of rhythm there. I just wasn't aggressive enough with the new tires to get any separation, the separation that I needed. But you know, and that may not even be though. You know, Richard and Wade, they both knew it was go time, and Wade and I were racing hard the entire race. Almost wrecked him there once, and he almost killed me on pit road, but we made it work. No, it was a good race though.
So you said totally different between, you know, after about 5 laps on the tires. Is that why? So what was it, around lap 1, I would say 115, we had that caution come out. Hustad decides to pit. Do you think if maybe he would have stayed out, everyone would have stayed out with you?
No, I think we're sitting ducks at that point. If we stay out, If I'm the third place guy and the two lead cars stay out, I'm going in, regardless. And then it doesn't make sense for anybody behind them not to go in,
Right?
Because it pins the 2 leaders out there. So I think we had to make the call. Worst that was going to happen is, we drive back through the field on fresh tires, or it ends under caution. New tires were, you had to have them tonight. It was slick. The car was tight, so you were eating up that right front really, really quickly.
Yeah, I could. There's a lot of right front damage from everybody rubbing the wall. So, congrats again, man. You got a shout out for anyone before I let you go?
Yeah, thanks to DRL as a whole for putting this all on. And big thanks to the S2R guys. Without them, we don't participate every week. So, big shout out to the team.
Awesome, buddy. Well, we will see you next week. Get some practice in, all right?
All right, man.
All right, take it easy. And that was Ryan Hesgard. He was our third place finisher for this evening. Crazy race, excellent race, very fun to watch there at the end. I can't believe it ended the way it did. Like I said, the next broadcast will be right back here tomorrow night at about 9:30 p.m. Eastern. That should be David Wellborn broadcasting that one. That is going to be the B-split in this Winter Oval Series. And I'm going to run through the credits. Thank you to everybody for tuning in. You guys are what makes DRL TV what it is. And, if it wasn't for you guys, there would be no DRL TV. So thanks again. Have a wonderful evening. Thanks to James Pandoff, Tater Bowman, all the admins and owners of the league, Martin Munzel, Jordan Gonzalez for all of his help. David Wellborn, obviously, all the broadcasting guys, him and Taylor Butcher Benjamin, Getty and Jason Taylor, and James even stepping up. Martin, all my buddy last season. So Eric Weatherholtz has stepped up a lot lately, helping us out with that Pro Series and even doing some broadcasting of his own. So thanks to all those guys. Thank you to everyone involved with the Dynasty Racing League. And if any of you are watching, all the guys that race in the league, thank you. This wouldn't be the DRL without you. Have a wonderful night, guys. We'll see you again tomorrow night, and I'll be back with you again next Tuesday.